Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Fish Den 365, and welcome back to Top Water Tuesday. Today, we're going to be talking about a bait from the mid-1980s. It's the Tornado. So this is the Tornado. This was a bait that was developed by a gentleman by the name of Eugene Shoestring Dubois. Shoestring Dubois was a lure designer. He did this in his own backyard and made a lot of different lures over the years and different designs. And he actually got this one a contract with Bass Pro Shops, and Bass Pro Shops mass produced this thing and sold it. And back in the 80s, this thing got heavily advertised in the Bass Pro Shops catalog. I saw a video just the other day where someone had a 1988 catalog, and this thing had like 2 pages dedicated to it, this Tornado. And so it's an interesting bait because it looks like a spinnerbait, but at second glance you realize it's a little bit more or a little bit different than a spinnerbait. First of all, it's got this flat head design, right, which makes it rise up to the surface more. And then the most unique thing about it is this blade. This blade is got like a very strange bend. It's cupped on both sides and it's got a bend to it right here. It's got a little ball that actually it almost rings like a bell when that ball strikes that blade. And the blade turns very wide. It has a very wide turn to it. So it's meant to be, you can fish this under the water, but really it shines as a topwater lure with this blade bulging just under the surface or even coming out of the water slightly. When it does, it shimmers. It's got this shine to it and it kind of looks like a bait fish. You hear that noise and you get that bulge all at the same time. Kind of an interesting design, especially thinking about it for topwater usage. And it's, I don't know if you can see this or not, but I'll put this here with my hand in front of it. Right on the blade, it says Bass Pro Shops, and then it says Tornado and Shoestring Dubois, I think, or Shoestring on it. That was the guy who designed the bait. And they really advertised the heck out of this bait back then. One mod that I did to it, just so you can see here, is I put this heat shrink tubing right here where the R is. The reason I do that is that lets me, this is where you would tie your knot. But by putting the heat shrink tubing there, what that lets me do is put a snap on there. And if I want to change my lure out quickly enough, then I can just quickly change my lure out. So it's kind of nice to have that. So, and you could fish this, maybe with a skirt like this. You can probably put something like a swim bait on the back, maybe without a skirt, or even put a horny toad on there like people do with a buzzbait. This bait is kind of like a cross between a spinnerbait and a buzzbait. Not quite a buzzbait, but not a spinnerbait either. And so I think it's really meant to be fished on the surface more like a buzzbait, especially with that flat design of that head there. And it's funny, I've had this lure a long time, since the mid-80s, and I fished it back then some, but I don't recall ever catching any fish on it. I might have, I just don't remember if I did. And so I'm curious to know if anybody out there on my channel here has experience with this bait, and if they have it and if they've caught fish on it. I've read some people swear by the bait, they've caught a lot of fish on it, and then I've heard other people say that they never really did that good with it. And maybe that has to do with how a person fishes the bait. I really don't know. But, I was just looking around in my boathouse recently, and I have this hanging up out there, and it's been hanging there for years. And I thought, well, I'll take a look at it and reintroduce it and talk about it at Top Water Tuesday. But now that I have, I'm curious about this. I want to fish it again. I'm looking forward to warmer weather so I can fish it, because I think I can think of some good applications for this. Milfoil, anytime you have grass beds that aren't surfaced out yet, we have some water above the grass, this could be a great bait above grass and stuff like that, and even through sparse lily pads and that kind of cover. I would think this thing could do all right in those circumstances. And when I look at the bait, I bought this back in the 80s, probably the mid 80s, and the components are strong. I mean, it's got a good strong hook on it. The blade never rusted out or anything like that. You can see it shines really well. No oxidation on it. Still rings like a bell. Everything's solid on it. The arm is good. It's got good components, and so from that point of view, it's constructed well. Makes me wonder how it will do when you fish it. I'll have to try this out a little bit come early summer next year, and we'll let you know how I do. But I'm curious to know if you have experience with it. Please let me know, because I'd love to hear about it, and I'm sure our viewers would like it as well. Well, that's the Tornado made by Shoestring Dubois for this Topwater Tuesday. Looking forward to putting out another one next week. We're going to continue doing Topwater Tuesday at least for another month, and then we'll make a decision if we want to change and do something else or continue on with it. We'll see how we go. Some of that will be dependent on your input as well. Well, if you like that video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Hit those notifications so that you can be notified when my next video is ready. And tell your friends, if you would, about me as well. If you like my videos, let them know. I'd like to grow my channel, grow my subscribership. We're certified bassified, and as always, may God bless your fishing endeavors.